All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Afifah Kashif. I'm a part of the CAIR Washington Youth Advisory Committee, and I'm here today with Stephanie Thorpe. Stephanie, if you could sort of introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about what you do at the Seattle Office of Civil Rights.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Stephanie Thorpe. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the testing program and compliance manager with the Seattle Office for Civil Rights. We are a department in the city under the mayor's office, and our office is involved in anything to do with civil rights. I'm on the enforcement division, and our job is enforcing civil rights within the city of Seattle.
Yeah, so could you talk a little bit also about your career journey and how you really ended up where you are right now?
Yes, so I will start with this is not where I saw myself in college or even at the start of my career. Um, I was one of those students who had a total plan. I was going to be a psychologist, developmental specifically. I knew the area. And in college, I did get my degree in psychology, but along the way, I learned that's not exactly what I wanted to do. And so I got an interest in law and attended law school. In law school, I had a class in immigration and asked my professor, who was also a working attorney, he was an adjunct professor, asked him if there was anybody I could shadow because I really liked the class and was very interested in it. And he said, yeah, you can shadow me. And so I just took that opportunity to learn about it and ended up going and practicing immigration law for almost 10 years after I graduated. I came to the city in this position because I wanted to do things that were very program and process and policy based, more big picture. And so that's what brought me here.
And how did you kind of, end up from that immigration law field and to kind of where you are now? And do you feel like there's a huge difference in what you were doing before and what you're doing now?
I feel like there's not a big difference as far as that is something I'm passionate about, something I care about. So throughout my career, whether it was as a practicing attorney or here, a big focus has been helping people traverse barriers. It's about barriers to things, access, immigration is very complicated. A lot of barriers in that system, in things like the civil rights in housing and employment, also a lot of barriers, which is what I do now. So I feel like they sound like they might be very different, but there is definitely for me a clear connection.
Yeah, and I think that's really inspiring to hear, especially as someone who's sort of in that student phase right now where it seems like there's going to be like one very singular path that I have to follow. It's nice to know that people are still pursuing their passions in so many different ways. So what's something you're doing right now that you're super excited about?
The program I manage is always exciting because we collect data looking at bias and discrimination in the city. And so it's always interesting to see the stories that are coming up, the trends that are coming up. But I would have to say probably the thing I'm most excited about is being able to go back out into community events that people are having now. So it's nice that things are opening up, having that community connection because in my job with compliance, I get to connect with housing providers and community members who are seeking housing and things like that on the phone or through those like virtual means. But I do enjoy just being out and face to face when I can. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Nice. Do you have any like interesting events coming up that like stand out to you?
Nothing that stands out. It's just nice to see that these events are coming back up. I know that there's different ones for back to school that different communities are having. Some housing providers are having some more trainings on housing laws. And so just kind of having that interface and getting in to face having those conversations is great.
That's amazing. What's something you wish people knew more about sort of your work in testing programs and compliance management? And before you actually sort of jump into that question, maybe describe a little bit what those terms mean, since I know that's something everybody might be aware of.
Absolutely. So the testing program is easiest to think of as a secret shoppers. So they're testers and they are trained to go out and interact with, for example, in housing, interact with housing providers. And we look and see if they experienced anything different or if there was anything not in line with what our laws say. The compliance piece is focused on education. And that would probably be the big thing that I would say, if more people understood, is compliance is very much about the rules, what the law says. Is the law being followed? Is it being effective? Do people know it's there? And sharing that information and the resources. So it's very focused on educating, which is the biggest piece where when I interact with small businesses, large businesses, housing providers of all sizes, it's really a conversation of these are what the laws are. This is where some resources are if they have questions, and also being able to provide them with someone like myself who they can come to when they do have questions.
Right. Thank you so much for that amazing explanation. I think I myself understand those terms a lot better now. Moving forward, I think that's sort of wrapping up all the technical questions I had for you, but I just had sort of a general question. It can be career related or just life advice. What's your, advice for young advocates trying to get involved in sort of roles like yours and just trying to make a difference?
I would say a couple pieces of advice. One is, as I said before, I had no clue I'd end up here. I can't even say if this job was a thing when I was in college looking at my future. So I feel like, especially when you're in college, it's okay to explore, it's okay to change. Um, if you have a passion for doing something and you're willing to roll up your sleeves, do the hard work and learn, then give it a try if you can. If the opportunity's there, give it a try. One of the scariest things I ever did was switch from being in law practice to this because I thought, I don't have any training in this. I've never done this. What if I'm not good at this? And the truth is, there's a lot of things you have that can be transferred to different jobs. Like skills can be very transferable. So it's easy for you to think, I'm a lawyer, I go the lawyer path. But the path is broader than you think. And the second would be, your mentors can come from anywhere. It took me a long time to realize and recognize all the mentors I had. I've been really privileged to have some amazing mentors and still do. A lot of them were people I didn't necessarily recognize that that's what they were at first for a long time, whether it's friends, family, other adults, professors. They can really come from anywhere. Anyone who's really investing and taking the time to teach you is a mentor. And so I would say value that and stay connected with them as much as you can.
I think that's really sound advice. Kind of pivoting back over to, your career, what's something that you love about your job?
I love the people that I work with. It's really what my job is fun. My job is interesting. I'm constantly learning. All those are great. But the people I work with are all a part of that. They teach me all the time. We teach each other. They help me when I have problems that I'm having trouble seeing my way out of, or how do we do this? So that has been something I've really enjoyed in this office, is the people I work with.
And kind of on the flip side, what's something you don't enjoy about your job, if you're comfortable answering that question?
What don't I enjoy? Honestly, I can't think of anything. The thing with this job, like a lot of jobs, is just knowing when to be done for the day. Um, you hear a lot about kind of work-life balance.
Right.
And luckily, that's something that is being talked about in a lot of businesses and a lot of offices, because it is hard. The work doesn't end. You don't finish it. You get to the point where you can stop now and come back tomorrow. So that would be another lesson, is learn where your boundary is and when it's okay to say, I'm done for right now.
And do you feel like that's something that the overall industry sort of is incorporating in right now? Or is that something kind of you're just going by, like advice for people going into that field, I guess?
I think it's something that's going on. Personally, I hear a lot more about it than when I started my career. It wasn't as much, at least in the industry I was in, as much talked about as it is now. You see a lot of things about how do you balance work and life responsibilities that are outside your office. So I know it's something talked about in the city, and I just see it much more in the conversations. But that's my personal view.
Yeah. Um, I guess that's wrapping up all of my questions. Do you have any like current trends or like issues that are kind of going on in this career field that you think might be helpful to share with people? Less on like a work-life balance and more so things to get involved with.
Um, Testing is an interesting field, and if people are kind of curious about it, one place that's done a lot is universities. It's always kind of been done at universities on studies looking at, example is resumes with two different names that get sent out, those kinds of studies. But there's also different organizations who do testing, maybe not as a permanent thing, but here and there. So if there was anybody who was interested, I'd be happy to see if I can help connect them, or if I know of somewhere that is involved in it. But yeah, just search or like look around and see if there's an area of interest for you, because there's probably someone who's involved in that, and try and
Yeah.
connect. Because when people, I guess another piece of advice would be when people say, feel free to email me, or if you ever want to come visit and see what I do, like take them up on it. They're serious. Actually take them up on it. Take the chance.
Thank you so much. Afifah, just because I was curious, where are you in school? Are you still in high school? Are you in college? What's your...
I just graduated high
Okay.
school, so I'm going into college as a freshman. Yeah.
Nice. Where are you going?
I'm going to UW, so I'll be nearby.
Yay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay,
Very
that's where I
cool.
went.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I loved it. I love that campus. That was so fun.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
went to
know a
UW
lot
for
of my
grad
friends
school.
were
Yeah.
very much like, do you have any advice and all of that? And Loki, that was also for myself as much as
You're
it
like, I have a pen. No, yeah, I enjoy it. That's my biggest thing. I added a whole new major. Like I said, I was psychology. I added political science. That's how I kind of ended up in law. And that was in my junior year.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I'm like, it's okay to pivot. But enjoy it. It's a beautiful campus. It's a fun campus.
I will. Thank you so much, Stephanie. It was
Yeah.
wonderful meeting you.
Yeah, you too.